Greetings and welcome to the little town of Shoreham. Come and join me as we drive along the seafront back towards Brighton. Alright, I've actually had a long old day today. I'm a little bit concerned. I've got 20 miles of range back to get me about 10 miles, so it's going to be a little bit tight, but I'm confident in my van's range estimation. I'm very confident that I'll be able to get back, no problem at all. Let's go. So, welcome to this glorious sunny day in October. Now, I'm still in shorts and t-shirt. I'm still in sunglasses. Whether it's climate change or look, I ain't no scientist. I ain't going to try and claim I know anything about climate change, really, the science of it or anything like that, but something ain't right when you're still in shorts and t-shirt and sunglasses in October. I kind of remember, do you remember the beginning of June where there was sort of loads of people out on social media and stuff going, oh, what's all this bloody heat wave in Europe, it's raining in England. I ain't heard any of this lot come out about still being hot in October and literally still being in shorts and t-shirt in October. Something's not right here. I don't know what it is. I ain't no scientist. Okay, but something's not right when we're still... We should be out ready for bonfire night in bloody hats, scarves and gloves. That's what I'm used to in October. I'm not used to still being here in shorts and t-shirt in mid-October. But anyway, we're going on. Right, as always with my driving me videos, I'm going to be discussing various topics today. We've had both party conferences, Labour and Conservatives. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to touch on Israel-Palestine. I have to. It's such a hot topic at the moment. I have to chat a little bit about that. I'll be time-stamping all the various topics that I'll be discussing. If you want to skip ahead to a certain subject, well, you can stay with me as we drive along the beautiful south coast. Now, let's go. Let's start with the conferences. So we've just had the Labour conference, and apologies this week actually in Hull. I haven't been uploading too much. I've been quite busy with work. It's been a crazy busy week this week. So I haven't caught too much of the Labour conference. I watched all of Keir Starmer's speech. I watched a bit of Rayner's speech. But yeah, you're not generally going to find me disagreeing with much of what Labour are saying at their conference. The only thing that I can really add is that I'd like a bit more detail. So going on Keir Starmer's speech, the main thing, his main talking points are really building. He wants to build new towns. He wants to solve the housing crisis, which is such a big issue in this country. I'd like a bit more on the house. How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to train people to do it? A little bit more detail into those things. He talks about the non-dom status, of course. We hear that a lot from Labour, that's the taxation that they're going to get to do the things that they want to do. Non-dom status. That's just an alarm telling me that my battery's down to 19 now. It's fine. I trust my van. But yeah, I'd like a bit more detail exactly how you're going to pay for it. He talked about British Energy. I'd love to hear more detail about British Energy. This could be really exciting, but it might be a damp squid as well. Nationalised energy. Okay, 18. Gone down to 18 now. I think I've driven about half a mile. I'm not concerned. Don't worry, it's fine. I'm not going to worry about the range of my van. But yeah, more detail with these things. But then I also understand the argument that a year away from election, they can't be giving away too much stuff. So, chicken and egg. But yeah, some of it was interesting. But of course, the main talking point about Keir Starmer's speech was the protester at the start that threw glitter on him. Now, the thing is, the guy protesting, I believe 100% in his cause. The thing that frustrated me the most about this protest, so the guy is from a group that wants citizens' assembly and PR voting system, a proportional representation voting system, which so many people in this country are calling out for. A citizens' assembly, which is basically, as I understand, is a replacement of the House of Lords with an elected citizens to do the same job that the House of Lords do, which is fantastic. What a fantastic thing to do. Especially when we got endless stories of corruption with Michelle Mone in the House of Lords. siphoning off 32 million from PPE contracts, citizens' assembly. What an amazing thing. But the thing that really annoyed me about this protester is in these situations, right, you pretty much have about 10 seconds at most, that's being generous, to get your point across. He actually got a bit more time because I don't know what the security were doing at that point, whether they nipped out for a cup of tea or something, but it seemed to take forever to get this guy off stage. But you have 10 seconds to get your point across, and he just mumbled some rubbish. We need citizens' assembly, blah, 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 blah. The average Joe's not going to know what the hell you're talking about. 10 seconds of a clear, concise point. We need PR in this country. Stop the Tory Labour pendulum. Something like that. Something clear so we know, yes, he's for PR. Yeah, I'm for PR as well. We need to stop this Tory Labour pendulum swing of constant Tory Labour governments. But he kind of failed on that front, really. He mumbled. How did Starmer come off in that situation? I guess he done quite well when he came back. His point of, if he thinks that's going to stop me, he doesn't know me, or something like that, wasn't it? If he thinks that's going to bother me, he doesn't know me, and a round of applause, and great, yeah. But he did look petrified, doesn't he? When that guy came on, he did look shit scared. He really did. He kind of froze. I would have much rather maybe like a John Prescott moment where he punches him or something. Or, well, that probably wouldn't have gone down to. Or at least a shove or something. Or tell him to shut up. Just no. This is my time, or something. But he just kind of like froze. And I think he was a bit scared, and he was kind of thinking, why are these people not taking this guy off stage? He should have gone by now. So, but yeah, overall, I thought Keir Starmer's speech was, I thought it was quite good. Obviously, Israel and Palestine had just happened the day before as well. He had to put that in the speech. He had to mention it. I think he done that quite well, to be honest. He condemned the attacks, and he was, pro-Israel, but also saying that we have to desperately, this highlights the fact that we need to find a two-state solution. Palestinians have the right to, I thought he handled that quite well. So yeah, that was Labour. I didn't see too much of it, but what I did see is a lot of the Conservative conference. Now, I've done a couple of videos reviewing Braverman's speech and Penny Mordaunt's bizarre speech. If you haven't watched them, click on the profile. You can go check them out. They're my most recent videos. It was absolutely bonkers, wasn't it? That Conservative Party conference is absolutely bonkers. And the thing is with the Tories right now is there's about 4 or 5 different factions of the Tory party. Now, Labour have been dealing with 2 factions at war for a while. You could add, well, ever since 2010, really. But they have really just been sort of 2 factions of the party, the left and the centre. But the Tories at the moment, they seem to have about 4 or 5 different factions that are warring for power, because they know that they're a sinking ship. They know they're not going to win the next election, and they're all fighting for control, like parasites, isn't it? And this is the main problem with the Tories right now, because everything that they do is geared up to winning the next election. Every single thing that they do. Then the country's not being run right now. No one in that party is putting forward anything that's going to benefit the country, because they don't want to benefit the country for the inevitable next Labour government. So this is the worst thing about our country right now. We're just stagnant. We're in this position where nothing's getting done because the party in charge are just only trying to defend their stance of why they should be in government and try and win the next election. And you've got warring factions. Like I say, you must have about 4 different factions now. So you've got Liz Truss piping up again with her insane, bonkers economics of giving the rich billions, of borrowing tons of billions of pounds to give to the rich to hopefully let it trickle down. You got Farage sniffing around trying to get the Tories into UKIP, although most would argue that they're all pretty much already UKIP as it is right now. You got Braverman with her anti-immigrant stuff. Is there actually a centrist faction of the Tory party right now? I don't think there is. I mean, Jeremy Hunt's supposed to be that, but even some of the garbage that he was coming out with was pretty much nonsense. It's pretty scary. But the most interesting thing that I found I mean, those speeches are bonkers, and I had a good laugh in a way listening to them. But one of the things I found interesting about the Tory Party conference is Owen Jones, love him or hate him, you know, he's a very divisive character. A lot of people love him, a lot of people hate him, but he always does a good job of covering the Tory Party conference. He always interviews a lot of Tory members that are there, and we get kind of a feel for what the Tory membership are feeling and what they're like. And one thing that I found quite bizarre, really, is he's done a lot of interviews where people are coming back with the sort of anti-benefits faction of the party, demonising people on benefits.
I mean, because why would anyone in Manchester vote for the Conservatives?
Working class people will, because working class people, many of them believe in solid Conservative values. They see the people who are sitting at home getting benefits and not doing any work.
Is that what you think's happening? You think people are sitting lazy
got
for their own benefits?
We've got 5.7 million people of working age who are not working.
So you think people are falsely claiming benefits now because they're lazy?
Yes.
Now this has always been a part of the Tory party, but it was very, very prevalent on the lead up to the 2010 election. This is kind of what they fought it on. You know, they wanted austerity, they wanted to balance the books, and they were pointing out people on benefits that aren't working, that should be working, and this sort of enraged people. And I remember at the time, you know, a lot of people justifying why they were voting for the Tories with me, friends, family. They say, you know, we need to tighten up the books, and I'm sick of people not working and are on benefits that should be working. But that sort of thing died down a lot during the 2010s. It kind of turned, with the rise of Farage and UKIP, it kind of turned into the anti-immigration thing, wasn't it? What are they doing over here? I bet they're taking benefits. I bet they're not contributing. It kind of, the pendulum swung onto these guys. And a lot of people that Owen Jones was interviewing brought that back, this anti-benefits thing. And I find it such an interesting topic to talk about, because why does it anger so many people when you have situations like I just mentioned before? Michelle Mone in the House of Lords ripping 32 million from taxpayers, just inventing a PPE company out of thin air when it was time to give out lucrative PPE contracts. You know, why do people not get angry about that stuff, but they care about Deirdre down the road who gets 30 quid a week off the social, or John that maybe could work, but you know what, he's mentally not there, he's not feeling it, he's in a bad place, and he's taking 50 quid a week off the social or whatever. People get so mad about that, but not about blatant government corruption, which is tens of millions of pounds, or in bloody test and trace situation, it's tens of billions of pounds of corruption. And my only answer to that really is, I guess it's easier to comprehend what you can physically see in front of you. I think, you know, you can't visualize government corruption, and I guess you only really find out about it if you read certain newspapers and watch certain news articles and things like that. But it's harder to visualize these things. They're a bit more complex. But John down the road, who probably could work, who's getting 50 quid off the benefit system, you know, you see that every day. You can visualize it. It's a simple thing to understand that, you know, I go to work every single day, and John, I reckon he could work, and I'm paying for his benefits and stuff. I guess it's an easy thing to visualise, isn't it? I guess that's why it's so easy to get people angry about that sort of stuff. And the same with immigrants or trans people and stuff. You know, it's exciting, isn't it? Oh, you know, look at that TikTok video of that trans person. Oh, I hate them. You know, when you wake up every morning, oh, I hate trans people. Yeah, I hate immigrants, you know, because you can visualise them. All you need to do is stick a quick video in front of your face, and you're anti-immigrant, you're anti-trans. But the diversity of government corruption, the ins and outs of the House of Lords, and exactly how it works to siphon off 32 million from a dodgy contract, you know, it takes a bit more time, and maybe it's not really that juicy. Maybe it's not as interesting. You know, it doesn't capture. You're not really going to get a viral video of how Michelle Mone brought a PPE company into thin air and siphoned off 32 million. But it should be juicy. It's so much money. 32 million. How much does the benefit system cost this country a year? you know, a couple of Michelle Moans and you pretty much got it. I mean, you pretty much got it. But yeah, I found that very interesting, that opinion has seemed to have come back to the forefront of Conservative Party members thinking. They're back to that same thing. Scroungers, in the great scheme of things, it means nothing. It really does mean nothing. Deirdre down the road, 30 quid a week on the social, in the grand scheme of things, means bugger all. It really does mean bugger all. I mean, it's not nice. You know, I understand this you know, because I remember back before the 2010s, people trying to convince me of this argument, and I almost got suckered in. You know, when you're working hard, if you're in a job that's really, really hard, you know, you work up at the crack, you know, early morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, you're up, you're travelling an hour or so to your work, the train hasn't turned up, it's gone, or you're an hour late, and you're an hour late coming home, and you get back 7 in the evening, and, you know, you see Deirdre down the road that's done bugger all day, and is getting a flat paid for. You know, it's easy to slip into that mindset. It really is. But I don't know whether you've ever been Deirdre, but life on benefits ain't that fun. I experienced probably about 4 months of being out of work. I had like council tax paid for and stuff, and I mean, you're literally just getting enough to buy yourself some food. And it's to me, it's a miserable existence. You're seeing your friends going out, going to gigs, going down the pub, and you're seeing all this stuff, and it's soul sapping. So I understand why people get into a life of this endless cycle. I think it's about finding a job as soon as possible, isn't it? I think if you go over that maybe 6 months to a year mark of not being in work, it's even harder. It's even harder to get back in, because you just get into this mindset of depression, and, you know, that's where we need to focus our attention, and that's where we need to invest money into helping people in those situations, getting people together in community meetings and meeting other people in a similar situation, giving help to boost morale and boost confidence to try and get back into the workplace and that. But is that help and support there? No, of course it's not. Tories won't invest in anything like that, will they? But yeah, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, it's you can visualise it, and it's interesting that the Tories are going back. I'm going back to the Tory party conference and these factions. I honestly have no idea which faction is going to win. Maybe that might be a good poll at some point, and you can put it down in the comments below. What faction of Tory party do you think will rise from the ashes if they do inevitably lose the next election? Will it be more far right? Will a centrist pro-EU, you know, I've heard talks of if the Tory party collapse, maybe there could be finally a pro-EU party that comes from the ashes of centrism or something, you know. That'll be interesting to see what comes. But yeah, put in the comments if you have a theory on what faction you think will win from the Tory party if they lose the next election, or maybe they won't even lose it. Who knows? This country's bloody bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Well, you do have a habit of voting absolute nonsense in every election. Anyway, moving on to this glorious sunshine October. I've got to talk about Israel-Palestine. You know, it's obviously the biggest news story this week, and the way I'm going to talk about it is by saying why I don't want to talk about it. Pretty much. I'm sick and tired of people talking about this subject that don't know anything about it. But what's even worse than not knowing anything about it is knowing a little bit about it, and that's the position that I find myself in. I don't really want to talk about this subject because it's so complex, and I know a little bit of information, and that's the most dangerous thing. The people that frustrate me the most are people that talk about this subject that have a little bit of information, because that's even worse. When you have a little bit, you're like, okay, which little bit is it? Have you just absorbed all the pro-Israel argument? Have you just absorbed all the pro-Palestine argument? You know, it's crazy. But like I said earlier, I think Keir Starmer, in his speech, done quite well on this issue. And this is where I lay, and I get frustrated, really, when people seem to take one side of the argument, because I just don't think you can. There's so much bloodshed on both sides. You know, I will condemn to the most strongest position the attacks that Hamas done on Israel, and I will condemn to the strongest position the retaliation on the other side. You know, it's just, there's so much involved in this topic, and so much bloodshed on either side, that unless you are a real expert on the topic, you shouldn't be talking about it. And this is the problem. There's so many commenters, YouTubers, people online, people on social media, just vigilantly taking one side on this topic, and it's so hard. So instead of trying to take a side and try and talk from an authority, I prefer, in situations that I don't know about, asking questions. I like asking questions. That's all I can do on this topic. And I guess the question that I really don't understand is, how has it not been possible to get a proper two-state solution? I mean, when you look at the map of Israel and you see the territories of Palestine, Gaza Strip over here, and patches of territory where Palestinians live, how is that possibly going to be a conclusion to this horrendous situation? It's never going to resolve itself like that. And the thing that I don't understand is, why have we not just been able to cut that country in half? One side Israel, one side Palestine. That's the thing that we're all crying out for. But I understand that it's not that simple. And I know there is so many factors involved. You've got powers in the Middle East that are funding Palestine with Iran. You've got Saudi Arabia, and you've got Americans funding the military for Israel. You know, there's so many things that need to be resolved before you can do that. But we just need to cut that country in half, man, half and half. And, you know, I often think, I know that the Americans heavily support and fund Israel's military. You know, can the Americans not just go, look, guys, we're going to stop funding you unless you just cut the country in half? Palestine's that side, Israel that side. We're going to stop funding you military. And but it's not that simple, is it? There's a million people you have to please, you have to sort out, and it's just horrific, because the amount of deaths, the suffering is just untold, and it's just, after so many years, it's never going to sort itself out. The only way I see sorting out, you know, with war, I always seem to come back to the playground with these things. Any subject that I don't understand, I try and bring it to its simplest form. And with warring factions, you think back to the playground. You know, if two kids over in the corner are fighting, and the bigger picture, the group of the playground need to go over and sort it out and go, right, pull each other apart, right, you can play in this area, you can play in that area. Can we not have a situation where the world comes together and goes, look, you two don't fucking sort this shit out, we're going to give you a clip round the ear? Geopolitics is not that simple, and I wish it really was that simple. And you know, I like to look at things in simple measures, but it just seems like, why can't the world just come together and go, look, for fuck's sake, guys, sort it out. Look, north half is yours, Israel, the south part is yours, Palestine. Put a wall up if you need to, just stop fighting each other. Rubbish. What are your thoughts, guys, down below? Do you agree with me? Are there too many people talking about this subject that really shouldn't be? Can you take one side of the argument? Is there anyone in the comments that feels that there is enough evidence to say, look, I'm pro-Palestine or I'm pro-Israel? I personally don't think you can. I think the situation is so complex, there's so much bloodshed on either side, that it just comes to the point where it's just impossible. It's impossible. Give me your thoughts. If you like the video, click a like. If you haven't subscribed, maybe think about subscribing. There's probably going to be another video up top if you want to check that out. I love this lady with her jewellery trolley. She has a unit at my storage unit, and she cycles that thing every day into town. Legend, absolute legend. I have a members page. If you want to become a member, it's 99p. There's exclusive videos on there. I'm going to put more videos up on there, and if you've got any suggestions for what videos you might like to see on the members page, please let me know. Till next time, take care. There we go.